I finally found it! A Compaq DL580 server. And I was not even looking for this one. I was looking for the DL380 with dual Pentium 3s and PCI 64 and some hard drives, and yeah, I'm still looking for it, but I found this one. I knew it existed, but I was not even hoping on finding it because it's a little bit step above the DL380, because this is a quad CPU machine and this is like for Pentium 3 performance the top 1% of the machines that you can find. This video is sponsored by my long-term sponsor PCBWay. If you want your circuit board designed, realized and printed, you should check out PCBWay. Starting prices as low as $5 for a 1 or 2 layer design. I'd like to invite you to join the PCBWay 6 project design contest. Submit your project and win great prizes. Place your order now, links in the description. It's Christmas time by PCBWay, so check out the special sales page for all the special end of the year deals. Hi, my name is Victor Bart and welcome to Retro Machines. And I paid 25 euros for this machine. But there's a catch. I bought it as status untested. In the advertisement it was powered on and showing display, but when he was testing it again, it didn't give a display anymore, and I gave a bid for 40 euros on it, and we agreed on 25, and I picked it up and I now have it here on my bench. So yeah, let's do a teardown of this machine in this video and see also if it still runs, and probably in later videos, if it works of course, then I have some pretty insane upgrades planned. Yeah, let's first just hook up a monitor and see if it works or not. Okay, the power is now plugged in and I connected my awesome Compaq keyboard with a trackpad built in, my Hercules gaming monitor. There's an LED here, and this is the power button. Okay, it's not a silent server. Okay, the machine still doesn't give a display. So yeah, let's take it apart and see if we can find something that's wrong. Maybe reseat all the parts and just show this awesome piece of hardware. And here, for example, is a door, and if you open it, you can hot plug the PCI slots. So here we have the Compaq Proliant DL580, and this is the first generation of the more modern machines. Before that, the numbering was like in the thousands, like my Proliant 3000 dual Pentium 3 server. But this is the newer generation, and this is probably the reason why HP bought Compaq and just continued the line. So here we have the power button, some status LEDs, and we have power supplies at the front, and this is just the dummy, because I only have one power supply, because this is the basic model, and the basic model is already pretty impressive. And also this bracket is so sturdy, the build quality of this is just insane. It's like a tank, and with a super nice handle here. So here we have the power supply. It's a 450 watt unit. Here the power connectors, some data connectors, some alignment pins if you push it in, and here they just took a C14 connector and a C13 inside, because the cables are routed to the rear to two power sockets. So yeah, that's a pretty basic but solid solution. Here we have a 24 speed CD-ROM player and a 144 floppy drive. We have 4 hot swappable SCSI hard drives. The drives that now are installed are 4 36 gigabytes. That's one thing I gonna upgrade. have 300 gig drives laying around. 36 gigabyte, 10,000 RPM. Okay, this is another model, also 36 gigabyte, 10,000 RPM. And the manufacture date is September 2000, so probably this machine is also around that era. And here we have the awesome Intel Xeon logo. So here's a sticker on the side. 27 to 40 kilo. Yeah, this is a heavy mother effer. And 60 to 90 lbs. So you probably can better not moving around too much because it's so heavy. But half of the rack rails are still attached to the chassis, so I'm missing the outer rails. So if someone has them, let me know. It would be nice to mount this in my home lab as a server to play with. So here we have the rear, and here are the two connectors for the power supplies. They are just routed to the front. And here we have a board with SCSI, VGA, PS2, COM and parallel, so probably that's the IO board. They put a USB card in this machine. I'm probably gonna take it out because a server like this doesn't really need USB. And there's a dual 100 megabit network card installed. And for the rest, no upgrades. But with this hatch here, you can easily hot plug your cards while running your server. To remove the top cover, you lose the thumb screws here and then slide it back. And inside of the top cover you have all kinds of information about all the connectors, about the power supplies, DIMMs, processor and fan location, SCSI hard drives and blanks, how you need to work with that, the processor options, the memory options, the hard drive options, the power supply options, so you can also just Google or eBay the numbers behind it and probably find old stock for upgrades on this machine. That probably won't be cheap, but it's possible. Also here, a very nice PC hot plug logo, so PCI hot plug information. So if you want to try it, please read it, what you need to do. So here we have the machine, so let's take things apart and show you how cool this machine is. The machine has hot pluggable fans, and they are two fans stacked on each other, so if one fan would die, you probably get an error message, but still can run your server till you replace them. So redundancy is really high on this machine, and the machine has some dust in it, but it's not too dirty, so that's always good. And here really big fans, probably 92mm fans, also dual stacked to cool the processors. And here on top of the CPUs you have really big thumb screws, so let's loosen them and then take out the CPUs and show you them, because slot 2 Xeons are just amazing. They look so enormous and have full speed cache. It's just really awesome. So here we have an Intel Pentium 3 Xeon, and they are 700 MHz with only 1 megabyte of cache. And I say only 1 megabyte of full speed cache is pretty nice, but you also have the 2 megabyte versions. And one detail is this is a 5/12 volt CPU. So a standard Intel Pentium 3 Xeon slot 2 probably won't work on this machine. So you need to have the special ones. But you can also install the 900 MHz with 2 megabytes. And I have 2 of them, and a friend of mine has another 2 of them. So if this machine works, I might upgrade it to quad 900 MHz with 2 megabytes of cache. That would be insane. And what I like is the Foxconn coolers are attached with 4 screws, so you can easily replace the cooling block to the 900 and put them back in. So let's remove the SCSI cable from this board here. So this is the main I/O board with all the I/O connections and a SCSI port here, two SCSI channels here, an LSE SCSI chip, here an AT3D RAID 2C PCI chip, and here we have a little module, and probably if you have this module, this controller will be a RAID controller, but this will be probably like a more basic RAID functionality and not super advanced. So if I want to go the advanced route, I probably need to install another SCSI RAID controller. But this is already a really nice setup. And here we have a battery, and I think I need to replace it, but it's not a standard battery, so I don't have it, so I need to check that out later. Oh, here we have the USB 2-port card, probably USB 1.1, with a Fiat chipset, made in Taiwan, no brand on it, just some cheap ass shit. I probably won't gonna put this back. So here we have the dual 100 megabyte network card. So I'm gonna put it back for just the installation, and later I probably gonna upgrade it to something with gigabit. So this piece is to redirect the airflow over the PCI cards. So it's really nice that it is installed. So here we have the memory board. And we have 16 memory banks SD-RAM. There are 8 modules installed. Each module is 128 megabyte synchronized 100 megahertz CL2 ECC. So we have 1 gigabyte of memory right now. And I think I have a really nice memory upgrade set for this. 8 sticks of 128, so we can upgrade this to 2 gigabyte, and that's more than enough for what I want to do with this machine, to play around with Windows 2000 and stuff like that. Can someone explain what this is, what they wrote on the memory board? It looks really strange. I took out a motherboard battery, so let's see if there's still voltage left in the battery. Okay, 3.056 volt. So it's probably not empty, but I'm not sure how good it still is, so I might order a replacement. And this is CR2450N. I can go further with taking it apart, but I think I stop here because I don't want to have the whole system in little pieces. But you can easily take out the cage that holds all the CPUs and have a really nice overview of the motherboard. But let's have this still in and just show you what we have. Here we have 3 PCI 64 slots running at 33 MHz. You can also use this for standard PCI cards. Here we have 2 PCI 64 66 MHz slots. So if you have like high speed RAID controllers, stuff like that, you put it in these slots, and probably your network card is fine in this slot. Here a normal PCI slot where the USB card was in. This slot is probably also high speed because this was connected to the I/O board with SCSI controller. Here we have 4 slot 2 connectors on the motherboard, and we have 4 CPUs, so everything is filled. And because they are 5/12 volt CPUs, you don't have the VRMs here on the motherboard, but you have the places where it could be soldered. So probably they have different versions of this motherboard. And here we have the connector for the memory board. And here at the front we have floppy, IDE and some other connectors, some power connectors. And under here are probably the chipsets. And the motherboard has a ServerWorks chipset. And the ServerWorks chipset with Pentium 3 combined is my favorite platform. It's just rock solid, high memory support. It's just amazing. I mean, this machine with this memory board supports 16 gigabyte of memory. So Casper, good luck with your 8 gigabyte of memory. Yeah, the guy that made Voodoo 5 9000 has only 8 gigabyte of memory with his dual Pentium 3 system. This is just a little bit better than his. And he don't like that if I say that. So here in the front we have the power supply and the place for the second power supply, and behind that here there's a power distribution board, and that also has probably the fan controller on it and stuff like that. So here we have the slimline CD-ROM player and a normal floppy drive. And the build quality is just built like a tank. Everything with thumb screws, really solid metal. It's just amazing. I just know why HP bought Compaq. Their servers were not on this level and they just wanted to have the best of the best. I put everything back in the machine, only not the hard drives and not this USB card. It works! Reseating everything did the trick. 4 CPUs detected, all the memory is detected. I had to search my whole studio, but I found my Compaq SmartStart 5.5, which is perfect for this era of hardware. And you need that to set up the machine, because the machine doesn't have a traditional BIOS, but you load up the SmartStart and then you have all kinds of tools to make the arrays, to set up the hardware, to install network cards. And yeah, I really love the SmartStart environment. It's just cool to use. And I found my Windows Server 2000 4-in-1 with professional server, advanced server and data center server. So I have an OS for this machine, and I think this machine with Windows 2000 is just perfect. And I also looked around and I found some parts that can be installed. For example, in the Proliant 3000 there were 2 network cards installed, and that machine doesn't have PCI 64, so it was not a good fit. But for this machine this is perfect, because these are gigabit Ethernet adapters with the PCI 64 connector. So that would be perfect for this machine, because with the PCI 64 and good SCSI hard drives you can easily serialize a gigabit connection to this machine. Another upgrade that is probably needed for this machine is a real RAID controller, because I think right now it's just the standard SCSI controller with the RAID module on top of it. We're gonna see later in the SmartStart which RAID levels we can set, but if we can only set RAID 1 and RAID 0, it's the simple one. So I also need a RAID controller. So I found 2 that is probably good for this system, and I'm not sure how good the batteries are on the RAID controllers, but we will see that in other videos when I gonna upgrade this machine. But in this video I just want to show you the possibilities and the direction that I want to go with this machine. This is a Smart Array 5300 with 64 megabytes of memory, battery backup, but not sure if the battery is still working. 2 SCSI ports here, 2 SCSI ports at the outside. There's an expansion module for this one, but I don't have it. I don't need it because I don't have external shelves. That would be cool to have an external disk shelf with like 14 SCSI hard drive. I had one back in the days and I probably gave it away. And the other controller that's much newer, this is Compaq and this is HP. This is a Smart Array 6400 controller, and this card didn't work in the Proliant 3000 because it only has PCI 32-bit, but in this machine with the PCI 64 it will probably work, because you can see here that it is really neat like the 66 MHz slot and not the 33 MHz slot. So I probably first gonna try the 5300, but because that is the most time correct for this machine. But this is also an option to play with. And this is the most exciting upgrade that I'm gonna do. I only have 2 now in my studio, but I will message tonight the guy that has the other two, so we can install 4 CPUs. And these are 900 MHz, 100 MHz frontside bus, 2 MB full speed level 2 cache, so it's running at 900 MHz. And this is also the 5/12 volt CPU, so that can directly swapped in without any trouble or things. And you just unscrew the cooling blocks from this one, and you have here 4 screw holes. Put some terminal paste between it and have the ultimate Pentium 3 server. And I don't think there are much systems faster than this. Okay, you have the octa-core Xeons, but they are really rare and not sure if I ever find one. But if I find one for a normal price, I will get it and show it on my channel. But I think 4 CPUs is already really awesome, because it's just to play with, and maybe for a LAN party this would be a perfect game server. The biggest disadvantage of Intel dual and quad CPU systems back in the days was memory bandwidth, because they run at 100 MHz frontside bus, so it has a 100 MHz bus to the memory, and it is a shared bus. So all the CPUs needs to go over the same 100 MHz bus to the memory. If you would install 16 GB of memory, you need a lot of traffic back and forward. Later in the Pentium 4 generation of Intel Xeons, they fixed it with a separate bus to the memory, just like AMD had. Let's install the system with the SmartStart CD. And I put the 4 hard drives back in the system. We now booted the SmartStart CD, so we are now in the system utilities. So we can run the system configuration utility, run array configuration utility, update system partition, blah blah blah, and other things. Let's first run the system configuration. Configuring hardware, please wait. I love this super old school interface, but they made it, it's just amazing. Your computer and all detected boards have been configured. Your boot controller has been set to blah blah blah. Let's review or modify. Okay, primary operating system is now set to NT4. Bayon Finds, DOS, NetWare, OS2, Unix, Windows NT, other. Windows 2000. Nice. Floppy drive, CD-ROM, memory, no passwords luckily. Serial A, parallel. In bus 8, the Compaq NC3134 fast Ethernet NIC is installed. But in a later video we're gonna swap that out for the gigabit adapters. Here the processors. Pentium 3 at 700 MHz, and you can set a lot of stuff in here, which is just amazing. Save configuration and restart the computer. Okay, the system has rebooted, so let's run the array configuration utility. But one hard drive is giving a red LED, so it probably has some problem. But also when I got this system, the guy said, yeah, there's something wrong with the array. So possibly one of the drives is broken. But luckily I have so much 300 GB SCSI drives that I don't mind that a 36 GB drive is broken. And I also have a lot of 36 GB as spare. Unconfigured controller. View current configuration. Smart array controller embedded slot. Only 2 drives detected of the 4. Maybe we have 2 broken drives. RAID 1, RAID 0. Oh, RAID 5. Only 2 drives are detected, so I think we have 2 broken drives. This is ID 0. That gave an error. And also the last ID was also not detected, so let's remove that. So let's swap this to this array and try again. I only have 2 drives installed, but it's now on ID 2 and 3, so I need to lower them. But maybe I should just replace some hard drives, because I was looking for hard drives, and after a lot of hard drives I found this 36 gig 10,000 RPM and this 36 gig, but this isn't 15,000 RPM, so that doesn't match with the rest of the set. But now comes the crazy part. Before I found those drives, I found 5 other drives that can directly be put in. All are 146 gigabytes, 15,000 RPM. And I found this box, 300 gig, 10,000 RPM, a box full of. Also in the Proliant 3000, that is full of 300 gig drives. So yeah, I need to look further if I want to replace it with 36. I also found in the Proliant this 2 73 gigabyte 15,000 RPM discs. Yeah, let's install that for now also in this machine, so I have 4 discs. Okay, all the drives are now detected, and the 36 on ID 0 and 1, and then the 72 gigs on 2 and 3. Custom configuration. So we're gonna select the 236 as boot drive. Create logic drive. RAID 1. Stripe size. Let's make a second array. And let's do RAID 0. Never do RAID 0 if you are loving your data. We have a whopping 8 megabytes of memory on the RAID controller, and only for read cache and no write cache. So this machine really needs a real RAID controller instead of the software RAID solution that's on now. I'm gonna install Windows 2000 data center server just to test out if this system is all working fine. Nice, the smart array controller is detected, so we have 36 gigabyte boot and a 140 gigabyte data partition. It's almost Christmas, so Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and happy the way you spend your time till next year. And PCBWay sent me a nice box of Christmas gifts. Christmas trees with lights on actual PCBs, of course. This one also with LEDs and some super cute theme here. A mouse pad, a wrist rest for your keyboard, and with this keyboard it's perfect. And I think I will use this on my computer and then the whole year. So yeah, I will be celebrating Christmas the whole year, thanks to PCBWay. And a nice comfy pillow, and I love this design of the Christmas man. And a nice cup to hold warm or cold drinks. But the most awesome thing is this custom made name tag. It's made out of aluminium and a magnet to hold it in place. The PCBWay logo, my name, retro machines. I love this. So this is like a play button, but then smaller. If I go to events, everyone will know my name and channel. So thank you PCBWay for the nice Christmas gifts. Windows 2000 is installed, so time for some gaming. The trackball sucks for Minesweeper. I did it in 70 seconds. It's a well spent 25 euros. Okay, I had 2 broken hard drives, but when I replaced them, everything is stable, everything is working, no errors. All the drivers are installed and I can upgrade it from the stock configuration as it is now to something way cooler. So what I need is the rack kit. I have the rails for on the box itself, but I need to have the thing where it slides into. So if you have laying it around or you know which numbers it are and you see a place where they are like affordable, like under 50 euros, let me know. And what I like to get is a second power supply, just why not? And I need to check my RAID controllers, and one of the RAID controllers I already saw that I can get a spare battery for around 45 euros, like a no-name variant. That's perfectly fine. Then I have battery backup for the RAID controllers. I need to see what I'm gonna do, but the base system is good, and that's the most important thing. And it's a very fast Pentium 3 system, because there are not many quad systems around. Okay, you have the octo systems, but if I ever find one it would be awesome. But for now I think this is one of the fastest Pentium 3 systems there is. So if you like to support me, you can support me monthly on Patreon and get access to my awesome Discord server, or use my Amazon affiliated links. And thanks for watching.